Well, actually, some of the setup included me just doing some work on another Yu-Gi-Oh! Related video. Yeah, I bought both a box of Legendary Collection 25th Anniversary Edition, and also a box of Rarity Collection. The 4th Rarity Collection, as in, like, the OCG product that was released right around 25th Anniversary also. So I opened up a box of each of those, and another idea for a video I had was just showing off the pulls from both those products and then kind of just comparing the two and just really analyzing, like, which product's better. But overall, I think it would depend on, like, what you value more from your sealed product. Do you want, like, nostalgia? Or do you want, like, easily affordable staple cards that you'll, like, just need to compete in Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2023? I think I'll just probably, like, just show off, like, at least the pulls I got later. But for now, I just want to, like, look at AI-generated Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. So yeah, there's still the other Yu-Gi-Oh! But AI account. Since the original, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! But AI account has... they're still on hiatus, by the way. Art comes from the card Fey Offering from Magic the Gathering. Still, Magic the Gathering, great game. Not so much necessarily the company that's in charge of the game, but great game, Magic the Gathering. I'll never forget. I'm gonna remember that for the rest of my life. Unexpected Potluck. I had to reread this card a few times to actually understand what it was saying. Art done by Lucas Graciano, or Graciano, however I pronounce that. Yeah, I've definitely seen his name in the bottom left corner of several Magic cards over the years. Unexpected Potluck. Normal spell. Declare one card name. Each player reveals their deck. So, just show their opponent the entire contents of their deck. Each player reveals their deck, and if the named card is in the other player's deck, they add that card from their opponent's deck to their hand. So basically, you want to try to call the name of a card that's in your opponent's deck to just yoink it from them. This is already pretty interesting design space. Okay, I gotta keep reading though before I just give my commentary on this. Then if both players added a declared card to their hand this way, assuming both players are, like, running a card of the same name, both players then swap their decks and graveyard. So the cards in their deck get swapped with the cards in their graveyard. Okay, this is probably just gonna be broken. Probably gonna be so many ways to abuse the fact that your deck just gets put in your graveyard. Then each player draws one card for each unexpected potluck in the graveyards. So what's supposed to be happening here? What's happening here? So if you declare a card name, let's just assume we're declaring the name of a card that's in both players' decks. I don't know, Ash Blossom gets run, like... Or even Droll and Lockbird if we want to go by, like, Syac metagame. Because, like, apparently, like, a lot of people are running Droll these days, so let's just say Droll and Lockbird's in both players' decks, and you call Droll and Lockbird. So, you take a Droll and Lockbird from your opponent and put it in your hand, and then they take a Droll and Lock out of your deck, and they put it in their hand. So you take their Droll, and then they take one of your Drolls. So, assuming, like, you activate this as the first thing you do in the duel, then if both players added the declared card to their hand this way, I'm trying to just go through this card step by step because there's a lot to take in here. It's like a common, like, joke that Yu-Gi-Oh! Players can't read, so you gotta give me time here. Then if both players added the declared card to their hand this way, both players swap their decks in graveyard. Do there have to be, like, cards in the graveyard to be able to do an exchange? Or can you just swap, like, a 0-card graveyard with, like, a deck? Which, in that case, would just simply make you have, like, no more deck. Yeah, same for the opponent as well. Then each player draws one card for each unexpected potluck in the graveyards. So both players would be drawing from an empty deck, which would basically just force a draw game. You could literally just play this card and force a draw game unless you're not allowed to just swap cards with like an empty graveyard. No, this is busted. Pretty much, this is like kind of a pain in the ass to understand, but what I'm getting from it just sounds completely busted. Both players just put like their decks into their graveyards, but yeah, just basically milling a shit ton of cards as we've seen like in the past year. Like extremely, extremely powerful strategy. Just mill like half your deck. She's a Tearlaman's basically just warped the meta around itself for like the few months it was like at full power. And then that's just not even getting into the logistics of this being, I don't know, I just activate this and force a draw game, potentially. This would still have, like, other interesting applications if it wasn't for the both players swap their decks in graveyard. Yeah, this would be pretty funny to play against a deck that, I don't know, uses an engine that has, like, bricks in it that you typically don't want to draw, so you kind of, like, just run, like, one copy of each. If you like really want to like stop one of your opponent's engines from being used, you can technically use this and call, say, I don't know, I don't like playing against, I don't know, Brave Engine or some shit like that. I just call Wandering Griffin Rider and I just rip it out of their deck, basically. And then they can't set up the Griffin Rider with the Brave Engine later because I just took it out of their deck and put it in my hand. I mean, if it were just that, this would definitely be like much more... I mean, it's still an interesting card either way, but if people are really just going to be like putting their entire decks in the graveyard and then just because they have no cards left in their deck, they just deck out. Or better yet, find a way to just put a card in your graveyard, then activate this. Then you'll draw from like a 1-card deck, and ideally you'll be doing this when your opponent has like no cards in their graveyard. I don't know, better yet, just, I don't know, play, like, some other card to just at least put something in your graveyard on the first turn. And then crack the unexpected potluck to just try and force both players to swap their decks in their graveyards. And if the opponent, like, has no graveyard and this effect goes off, they lose. Oh, and this card's activation and effect cannot be negated. As if a card this fucking stupid needed to have a clause that made it so you literally cannot respond to it. No, I hate this thing. If you're the artist of one of these cards and you don't want your art being on the card, please let me know and I'll remove the card. You could just remove the art and then just find a replacement. Interesting. Dark Phantasm Magician. I taught the AI about the new illusion type that's coming out in Duelist Nexus, coming out in Dune, and how it supports some of Yugi's old cards, and it decided the best use for it is Dark Magician support. What does this look like? Alright, this looks like a Dark Magician retrain, like one of the many Dark Magician retrains we have, because nostalgia is apparently worth a lot of money. Alright, so you got a level 7 Dark Illusion effect. This card's name becomes Dark Magician while in the hand, deck, or graveyard, or on the field. Unless it's banished or some shit, like it's always basically also known as Dark Magician. Okay, so each of these are hard ones per turn, sure. If a spell or trap card is activated while this card is in your hand, quick effect, you can just special summon it. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can have one spell or trap that specifically lists Dark Magician in its text from your deck to your hand. There's a hard ones return on both of these. I was gonna say maybe, I don't know, a little powerful to special summon a level 7 very easily, but Kashtira exists. And then honestly, they'd probably just do it a lot better too. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, that has to specifically list Dark Magician in its text. From what I see, this card is fine. This would be like a kind of card you could definitely like just imagine coming out in the near future. Like, this definitely looks like a card that could actually be printed. Like, it would literally just fit perfectly alongside cards that actually do exist. Oh yeah, I like anarchism too. Maybe not so much Marxism, but anarchism. I mean, even then, like, still rather have at least some sort of government, but preferably like one that doesn't intervene too much in our daily lives. I mean, if I had to pick between like anarchism and tyranny, I'd definitely choose anarchism. PhD on the history of anarchism. You could spend that much of your life in school studying anarchism? I had no idea. Not sure how I feel about using AI art. Additionally, don't feel comfortable just taking images off DeviantArt or ArtStation without asking people either, so that's the main issue right now. Didn't DeviantArt themselves kind of just take a bunch of art without people's permission just to use it? Yeah, I heard something about them doing that, and like a lot of people are understandably pissed off. Tide of the Crimson Inferno is a counter trap. When a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated that targets a fire monsters you control, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card, and you can special summon one fire monster from your hand or graveyard, and ignoring its summoning conditions. Interesting. Nothing about this screams overpowered. Basically, like, destroying one of your opponent's cards while simultaneously just summoning a resource to also, like, add to your board. You know, a lot of cards in modern-day Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically just let you 2-for-1 your opponent, and this doesn't really look like any sort of exception. Although ignoring its summoning conditions, I have no idea if that could actually get abused, maybe. Or, I don't know, maybe just, like, if you're really that scared of this going off, theoretically, you could just opt for removal that doesn't target your opponent's fire monsters. Yeah, I definitely see, like, how to counterplay around this. Basically, just find other means of removal that doesn't involve targeting. It seems fine to me, to be honest. It looks okay to me. This is gonna be an interesting one. Transdimensional Armageddon Cat. We've got a Beast Fusion Tuner effect. We got a Fusion Tuner level 1 monster. Fusion summoned with 2 monsters with different attributes and types. Must be fusion summoned with the above fusion materials, can't be special summoned by other ways. This just so far reads like a really good super poly target. I mean, there's stuff like Garura that can basically just handle the cases where the monsters have the same attribute and types, and this cat right here just handles basically even more like edge cases for like different combinations of monsters your opponents can have. 2 different attributes and types. That comes up a lot. So that's gonna, for one thing, I guess, just make it really that much easier to just abuse Super Poly, which already can't be responded to. Now there's even, like, more combinations of monsters I could just theoretically get rid of if this was a real card. When this card is fusion summoned, you can special summon 1 monster with 0 attack and defense from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Ooh boy. I mean, sure, that restricts what you can summon out of the deck, but still. Special summon 1 monster from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Granted, there gotta be both 0 attack and defense, but still. Can't really think off the top of my head, like, what good targets there are for this, but the fact that this is just super easy to summon off of Super Poly, just... I don't even, like, know, like, what kind of can of worms we'd be getting into with the summon a monster from your deck with 0 attack and defense ignoring summoning conditions, but I know this would just make super polymerization even more powerful than it is already. I'll just keep reading now. Gains the following effects based on the types of monsters used for its fusion summon. Beast, when this card battles, both players take damage equal to the attack of the battling monsters, so both of them. So whatever, like, this crashes into, and then 0, because it just... Unless you're boosting its attack somehow. This card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects while you control another monster. If you use the warrior, spellcaster. When this card leaves the field, banish one card from your hand, field, or graveyard. Zombie. Both players send the top 10 cards of their deck to the graveyard during each of your holy shit. During each of your standby phases, but granted you gotta wait till your standby phase, but still. Holy crap, both players mill 10? What is this thing? So much going on here. Wonder if anyone in the comments has figured out like what you can just easily cheat out with this cat. Super poly target, cute kitty, and God knows what you can just summon out of the deck with this for free. Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames. Yubel, Relinquished. Special summons. I don't think special summons Sphere Mode personally. I don't think that works. Because question mark attack and defense is not equal to 0, so. I can click reply, right? Pretty sure no. So you wouldn't be able to cheat out Sphere Mode with that since it got question mark stats, I'm pretty sure. I could probably just go like on Dueling Book or something and just type like monsters with 0 attack and defense and see what crazy shit pops up. What is truly the most broken monster you can just shit out with this cat? After already having knocked out 2 of your opponent's boss monsters. What can you, like, also just literally cheat out of your deck? Top 10, okay, this is gonna be another, like, crazy one, right? Something about sending the top 10. Pandemonium Portal Panic, normal spell. Activate, only if you control no monsters. When this card is activated, both players shuffle their hand into their deck, then draw the same number of cards they shuffled, so basically magical mallet being applied to both players. All face-up monsters on the field have their attack and defense halved until the end phase. During the end phase of this turn, this card is activated. All cards on the field are banished face down, and both players mill 10. During your next standby phase, all banished cards are returned to their respective owner's field in the same position they were in before being banished. So I guess including the face-down monsters as well. You can only activate one of these per turn. This card's pretty great. There is a lot to unpack here. Probably gonna just take some time for me to really decide, is this card like reasonable or no? It's gonna actually take some time to like really like decide here. During the end phase of the turn this card is activated, all cards in the field are banished face down, then both players mill 10. But the cards are eventually just returned anyways. There's probably some way to just break this anyways. I can probably see this being played alongside, I don't know, a sort of floodgate that stops the special summon of monsters or something like that. I don't know, maybe like, I don't know, you play this, oh, then again, like, I don't know. Really like a lot to take in here. I'm just trying to think like, what kind of play you can just do to wipe your opponent's board and then stop them from actually getting that back. And then there's the whole, like, both players mill 10. I think that alone probably just pushes this card over the top, to be honest. Yeah, while I'm still thinking about, like, Ishizu Tears, that basically just, as I said earlier this stream, literally warped the metagame around themselves. Everyone just, out of desperation, running monsters to just banish like Tearlaments from their opponent's graveyards before those could resolve, which sort of like caused other decks that really need their graveyard to just basically become very difficult to play during that metagame. Yeah, for example, like Eldritch, like if basically just about everyone is running like Bestials to just banish light and dark monsters from your graveyard, you're gonna have a miserable time just having your Eldritches constantly ripped out of your graveyard, and once they get like all three, oh boy, it's just gonna go downhill from there. Yeah, Drawtron 2 also being like another casualty of everybody just running Bestials trying to deal with a Shizu tier. That deck also just really struggling when Bestials were everywhere. Mathmech 2 also because, yeah, one of their like extenders, Sigma, that they summon from the graveyard, just that's also light. Also, Bestial can just counter Super Factorial pretty easily. That too. Yeah, the Mill 10 just... Then again, both players Mill 10, but still. I mean, if you build your deck around the Mill 10... Alright. We got a Kaiju monster here. This is gonna be... I'm already liking this. We got a Kaiju here. Level 11 Reptile Fire Attribute Kaiju. Cannot be normal summon or set. If your opponent controls a Kaiju monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in an attack position with 4,000 attack. While this card is face up on the field, you can control any number of Kaiju monsters. Okay. Once per turn, you can remove 3 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field. Destroy all other cards in the same column as this card, and if you do, return this card to your hand. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked, you can add 1 Kaiju from deck to hand. This will have once per turn each effect. Damn, 4,000 attack. And in a dedicated Kaiju deck, this will just be really easy to power out. I mean, there's probably honestly just... This honestly still probably could have been even more, like, bonkers, so... I do think this Kaiju is fine, even with the 4,000 attack. I do think it's still reasonable enough. I think I'd personally greenlight the Kaiju here. To just print. BES Imperial Cruiser. Machine effect. If you control BEF Zelos, you can special summon this card from your hand. When this card is normal or special summon, place 3 counters on it. If this card will be destroyed by battle or card effect, remove a counter from it instead. Wow. BEF Zelos is on the field. This card cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. Once per turn, you can target 1 BES monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and if you draw 1 card. If this card is sent to the graveyard, it has no counters on it. You can special summon 1 BES monster from your hand or deck on a hard once per turn. This was like some archetype that I think debuted in Rise of Destiny or something, like basically near the tail end of Duel Monsters era. There was like one guy in GX, if I'm not mistaken, who played basically BES. And the deck was like, from what I recall, the deck was never any good. Like, it never saw any like competitive success. So, honestly, what could this do? Honestly, I don't think it could do much if the archetype like never really like made any sort of impact on the competitive scene. Astral. Oh, hey, there's Astral from Zexal. Astral Phoenix. Alright, so level 7, Light Pyro effect. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish 1 fire and 1 light monster from your hand, field, or graveyard. Special summon this card. When this card is special summoned, you can target up to 2 spell or trap cards on the field, but destroy them. Once per turn during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets a card you control, you can banish 1 card from your hand or field, negate the activation if you destroy that card. Alright. Yeah, You have to have both, like, the light and the fire monster to banish those, so that's, like, 2 cards, but granted they can be cards out of your graveyard still. Pop 2 Speller Traps, though. And also have, like, a negate. Then again, it's not like an Omni Negate. Has to specifically be, like, against an effect that targets one of your cards, and there's definitely, like, plenty of removal out there that just doesn't target, so this definitely can't hit everything. I don't know, Astral Phoenix is also, like... It also looks, honestly, fair to me as well. Okay, maybe I don't know about the part with the blowing up 2 Speller Traps, but... outside of that, like, nothing jumps out as OP on this card. Aside from maybe the double Speller Trap pop. Okay, what is this? Kinda looks like a Sword Soul. Quadark or Quadark Cataclysm. Dark Fiend Link effect. So it's dark type, dark attribute, so it's dark type and fiend type? Why not just Fiend Link effect? 4 monsters. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by sending the above materials you control to the graveyard, the 4 monsters. That is basically how you link summon in the first place. You already do not use Polymerization, Xyz, Synchro, or Ritual Summoning to link summon. You basically already just summon the link monsters anyways by just sending you the above materials you control to the graveyard. Can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also unaffected by other card effects. 0 attack though. Once per turn, quick effect, you can pay half your life points. Each player takes damage equal to the combined attack and defense of all monsters they control. Holy crap. If this card is destroyed by... Wait, it can't be destroyed by battle though. Or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect. But it can't be destroyed by battle or card... Okay, it could get banished though. Each player sends all cards they control in their hand and in their deck to the graveyard. Then banishes all cards in their graveyard face down. Holy fucking shit! Each player basically just banishes everything they own face down. If the opponent somehow gets rid of this, unless they, I don't know, just tribute over it with a kaiju because that's not an effect, that's a summoning condition. Basically, both players just have their entire decks nuked. Once per turn, quick effect. Pay half your life points. Each player takes damage equal to combined attack and defense of all monsters they control. So, basically, if you can just play this against, like, a full board, unaffected by card effects, you play this against a full board and resolve it. You just burn your opponent to death anyways. I'll just summon this. It's unaffected by card effects. You basically can't out it, and I'm going to just activate its effect to burn you for lethal because you just played a lot of monsters. Because you typically want to play a lot of monsters these days. And honestly, I think like the last effect is the funniest. Send all cards they control in their hand and in their deck to the graveyard. So basically, everything that's not banished just gets put in your graveyard, and then you just banish everything face down. So yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this literally just completely nukes every single card in both players' decks. So what if it has 0 attack? It's still busted as shit, so what if it's got 0 attack? Even if the last effect was possible, you still lose the deck out. This is once again the easiest FTK ever. Yeah, if you can just like force a bunch of monsters on your opponent's field, that's basically just the FTK. Access black card and summon 4 more times to have exactly 4 monsters on field. Summon this and wait for a guard to resolve, giving the opponent 5 800 tokens. Burn for game. on the first turn before they get to play. Ah yes, polymerization summoning. I love how this thing makes everyone and everything that ever existed or will exist banished and takes them down with it. Glad we got an explanation of the link summoning mechanic. Because exactly that's what we needed. Pubby or Pooby? How is that pronounced? Pubby? Alright, Pubby. I'll just say Pubby and go with that. When this card is normal summon, you can add one level 4 or lower beast monster from your deck to your hand. Okay. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card. Special summon one level 4 or lower beast monster from your hand or graveyard. You can only use this effect of Pubby once per turn. Yeah, this does read like a perfectly normal, reasonable, like, beast-type support for 2023 standards. Yeah, it reads like a perfectly fair card to me. What is even going on here? First things first, it's a pendulum monster, so I'm gonna have 2 text boxes to read. And it's also a creator god at the same time as being a dragon. And it's a Link Pendulum spirit monster, on top of course having an effect. This card took less time due to me using... Someone's GitHub has a quote-unquote card maker. I'm probably gonna want to maybe look at this after the stream, out of curiosity. Don't prefer it due to having outdated assets, but it's good if you're trying to make weirder cards like pendulum traps or spells too. Like, so isn't a pendulum spell just going to be like half green and half green? So... what the hell is going on here? Yeah, it definitely looks like a custom card, that's for sure. I don't even feel like reading it. Supreme King Vortex. I don't know if I want to read this one either. Once per turn, if you control that other card that I just skipped past because I didn't want to read it, you can activate one of the following effects based on the number of cards in your hand. 1 or less. Negate the activation of one spell trap card your opponent activates and banish it. Exactly 2 cards. Target 1 monster your opponent controls, banish it. Exactly 3. Special summon 1 monster from your extra deck or graveyard ignoring its summoning conditions. Okay, this is also like... This I can see being broken pretty wide open. We'll just keep reading, though. Though I'm definitely gonna just say no to, like, technically printing a card like this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it shouldn't be that hard to just specifically try to get exactly 3 cards in hand, because being able to just literally cheat anything out of the extra deck. There's just so many ways this can go. I don't know, for example, I brought it up on, like, I think live stream number 4 when I just reacted to these AI cards. Naturia Exterio. Basically just effectively locking your opponent out of using spells and traps. It's supposed to balance around the fact that you need 2 synchro monsters on field to properly do the summon of Exterio, but there are ways to just straight up cheat it out of the extra deck, and then especially if your opponent's heavily reliant on spells or traps, they basically kind of just lose the game on the spot if that hits. And they can't out it. 5 or more, you can skip your opponent's next turn. Oh my god. Once per turn, you can activate one of the following effects based on the number of cards in your hand. So if you just consistently stay at 5 or more cards in your hand, you get back to your... You basically have taken an extra turn because you skipped your opponent's next turn. So you basically get an extra turn, which you can then just skip the opponent's next turn again, and again, and again, and basically, if you control that Pendulum boss monster, you can just... Then again, it didn't even read like that Pendulum Link anyways. You can basically just take every turn for the rest of the game. I'm I'm not even gonna finish reading this one. That's even more stupid than cheating out Naturia Exterio or some other, like, boss monster that's bounced around the fact that it's hard to summon out of the extra deck. Okay, what is this? Bing search engine, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox browser, and Opera browser. I learned Bing's AI can make custom cards. Do with that information what you will. Which archetype you play in? I don't know, we'll see. Bing search engine. Okay, it's a light machine. Once per turn, discard one card. Add one card from your deck to your hand that has the same name as a card on the field or in either player's graveyard. Okay, so is it a soft once per turn or a hard once per turn? Which is it? Is this broken or is this reasonable still? I'm asking myself. I mean, you can always just ash it still, but that doesn't necessarily make the card okay. I mean, for example, Pot of Regis, it's like a free draw too. Like everyone who could run it would run it if it was actually legal. Like, there'd be basically almost no reason to not play it. Oh, I think this is still reasonable though, the Bing search engine. Google Chrome. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Google card from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon one Google monster from your hand or deck, except Google Chrome. Depends on what the rest of the Google monsters look like, to be honest. Mozilla Firefox browser. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target one face-up card in the field, negate its effects until the end of this turn. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add one Mozilla card from your deck to your hand on a hard once per turn. Opera browser. If this card is normal summoned or special summon, you can activate one of these cards. Activate one of these effects, draw one card, or add one Opera card from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one Opera monster from your hand or deck with a different name than this card. You can only use each effect of Opera browser once per turn. It really depends on what the rest of the Opera cards look like. Or the Mozilla cards, or the Google cards. The most generic one by far is the Bing one. The rest of them, you're just like locked into their respective archetype to actually use their effects. This is like an actual card. Yeah, apparently this like was actually like a card the Yu-Gi-Oh! AI, the other Yu-Gi-Oh! AI account got. I think I want to just kind of skip past this one because holy hell is that a lot of text. So we have like what, at least like 7 effects to read? No, I'm not gonna read that. That's just first things first. Like, how the hell would you fit this on a text? How would you actually fit this on a card? Oh, salute anyone who could somehow put this on a card in a good-looking way. I wouldn't know how. How would you theoretically put that on a card? That wouldn't fit. That's just too much text. Blue Eyes White Dragon Maid for hire. This card is truly my finest work. Also, don't mind the fact I keep scheduling posts at the wrong time. Just like, I dislike Twitter's system where by default I try scheduling something 7 days ahead, throwing me off when scheduling. Just don't mind me, I'm just adjusting this camera here. I think that's fine. Blue Eyes White Dragon Made for Hire. I already want to just say yes for the art. Dragon. Effect. Dragon. You can special summon this card from your hand by sending one monster you control to the graveyard. Alright. So it's pretty easy to summon. Once per turn during your standby phase, you can target one Blue Eyes monster, one Dragon Maid monster, or one monster for hire in your graveyard. Special summon, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to half the attack of the special summon monster until the end of this turn. When a card effect is activated, you can reveal any number of Blue Eyes cards, Dragon Maid cards, or cards for hire in your hand. negate the activation. If you do, shuffle that card into the deck. Then draw cards equal to the number of revealed cards. So, Omni Negate, that lets you just draw a ton of cards, on top of course, just negating whatever like you want it to negate. Yeah, this can literally fit into like perfectly into one of 3 decks. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can target one Blue Eyes Dragon Maid or for a higher monster in the graveyard, special summon it. Then destroy a card your opponent. Destroy a card your opponent. Omni Negate that lets you just draw potentially like a ton of cards, I'll just say. I don't know if you have like theoretically just a handful of like Blue Eyes Dragon Maid or cards for hire. Just reveal your whole hand and then just basically double your hand size on top of just negating one of your opponent's potentially critical plays. But this card is truly a work of art. Definitely is a work of art though. I think I'm actually just gonna go back to like the main Yu-Gi-Oh! But AI account. The one that I basically just ended the last like reacting to AI cards live stream with the hand shark that just nukes your opponent's entire hand. That one. I'm just gonna switch back to the main account. One that's not posting anymore, but still has a lot of cards on it over time. A Tribe of Terror, continuous trap. Once per turn during a standby phase, roll a 6-sided die and apply the results. Face down dispense position monsters you currently control are destroyed by battle during the next turn. Also, they're unaffected by other card effects except their... Wait, what? So what happens? They are destroyed by battle during the next turn, and then they're unaffected by other card effects except their own card effects, so they're unaffected by the effect that would destroy them by battle somehow during the next turn, so... Does just nothing ever happen on the 1? If you roll a 2, destroy this turn. So, what happens here? If we destroy a turn, does that basically just mean like the turn is just... I assume that means the turn is over? Yeah, I assume it means the turn is over. Yeah, you can only destroy theoretically your own turns, but why would you want to do that? If you just destroy your own turns, you basically just... Is that like... I think that's like skipping them. But really, like... Over half of the card, just... Over half of what I'm reading just doesn't make any sense. Destroy this turn, though. Yosenju Warlord, the Armored Mayakashi. You got a Wind attribute, level 4 Beast Warrior. You can send 1 Mayakashi card from your hand to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. You can target 1 Mayakashi monster you control. It cannot attack. Also, your opponent cannot target monsters you control with card effects except this one. And you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. So, basically, as long as those monsters stay on the field, like... It doesn't say till end of turn, like, your opponent just cannot keep, like... It doesn't say till end of turn, so, like... Once this effect applies, it starts applying until those monsters are taken off the field eventually, somehow, or the game ends, whichever comes first. Also, your opponent cannot target monsters you control with card effects except this one. Also, you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. That's not pretty huge, though. Then again, can't you just target this Yosenju Warlord with its own effect to just give all your other monsters target protection that doesn't go away even? I mean, of course, there's still definitely ways to just like monsters that can't be targeted, but giving all your monsters like target protection though. Then again, I assume if you have like a full board of monsters, it won't really be ideal for your opponent to just try and pick them off one at a time anyways. I think it's still a fair enough card though. And also makes more sense than the other one I just read. Cyber Angel Laser Cannon. An equipped spell that can only be equipped to a dragon-type dragon monster. So basically a dragon type that has dragon in its card name. Cyber Angel Laser Cannon that only dragons can use. So you can't even equip this to any of the Cyber Angel monsters, so that's already a flavor fail right there. It gains 300 attack. If this card is sent from the spell or trap zone to the graveyard, you can target one dragon-type monster you control. Equip this card to that target. When this card is sent from the spell or trap zone to the graveyard, you can banish one dragon monster from your graveyard. Special summon one dragon monster from your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay, let's just say that when I read the name, I was totally not ready for dragon support. Literally has nothing to do with Cyber Angels. Hell, like, Cyber Angels can't even be equipped with a Cyber Angel Laser Cannon. Yeah, definitely like one of the most misleading name we've seen so far tonight. I don't think it's too like crazy though. I think it's also I think it's also a fair card. I mean, dragons already get enough. So, okay, this is gonna be a good one. Morphtronic Magnifica. What? I know what's going on here. It's like what, the Morphtronic earphone heads being put on the bodies of Exosisters Magnifica. Okay, so we got like a Machine Synchro level 7 here. Level 7 Synchro with generic materials. If this card is Synchro summoned using only machine type monsters as material, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, you cannot activate monster effects, but why would you want to do this to yourself? I don't think it's worth it to just summon this with machines. Sure, it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, but you lock yourself out of monster effects. Why would you do this to yourself? If this card is destroyed... No. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sent it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack in the graveyard. So, what, basically? This card would just be doing, like, basically, like, 2,500 damage. Basically every time it attacks. Whether it be like some combination of battle or effect damage or just 2,500 to the face. So basically this, as far as I know, kind of just almost always swings for 2,500. And you can lock yourself out of monster effects for some reason if you want to do that badly, to just give this card destruction protection. Everything on the card makes sense. Not in the sense that, like, you would want to actually lock yourself out of monster effects, but all the effects, like, do, like, make sense in a way that, like, they, like, adhere to the confines of the game. Yeah, everything on this card's text box falls within the confines of the game. Even though still, why the hell would you want to lock yourself out of monster effects? It's not worth it. We got an Ursarctic Xyz Dragon here. I thought they had a gimmick that just hated on monsters without a level though, so this is interesting to see. Which you Xyz summon with a level 6 non-tuner synchro monster. Literally using one monster as material. Interesting. Level 6 non-tuner synchro monster. When a Ursarctic monster you control inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can discard one Ursarctic monster from your deck, so basically just putting it in the graveyard. Draw one card. You can do this every time one of your Sarctic monsters hits, apparently. If this card is destroyed by battle, you can target one monster on the field. This card that was already destroyed by battle, so it wouldn't be on the field anymore, gains 1,000 attack until the end of this turn. Then, this card gains 1,000 attack until the end of this turn, and if you do, destroy it until the end of this turn. That last part doesn't even make sense. I still want to read it one more time, though. If this card is destroyed by battle, you can target one monster on the field. This card gains 1,000 attack until the end of this turn, then it gains 1,000 attack until the end of this turn, and then destroy it until the end of this turn. So destroy this card or the monster you targeted until the end of the turn, so just continually keep on destroying it over and over again. Destroy it theoretically an infinite number of times if you need to, until the end of the turn. All I can say is, stop! Stop! He's already dead! Oh, what's all this? I'm guessing these are just some more sample prompts. This article is written as if I was... So is this like some... I'm guessing this is maybe like a prompt that this guy gave to the AI. I'm guessing that's the prompt, and then these are just a bunch of the results from GPT. The Phantom Knights of Long Island? I want to know more about that. Sky Striker Main 10, Gates of Heaven. Not Sky Striker Main 3, nothing more. Interesting. Pendulum of Fate. We got a normal trap here. When a spell or trap card is activated, banish all cards on the field. Whoa! Then target one card on the field, destroy it. Can you even technically activate this card? Because you banish all cards on the field first, then you have to target a card on the field, so... Can this card even technically be activated because you have to target something on the field as a cost, but you're banishing everything on the field first? Can you technically play this? Does it technically even work? I don't know. This is just the photo, right? I love how it has nothing to do with pendulums. I like how this is illegal to ever activate. Yeah, the way I'm reading this, you have to be able to pick a target to activate it, but there will never be a target. There will theoretically never be a target unless, I don't know, something on the field happens to have banish protection. Like it can't get banished. And only then will you actually have a target to use this card. Theoretically, you can only ever play it if there's at least one thing on the field that cannot be banished, I think. What can you target with this? Haha, you thought your Miracle Jurassic Egg was safe? Behold, my card's second effect. You thought your Goddess of the Closed World is safe? Little did you know, my card can just target and destroy it. You laugh at the second effect, but it outs Underworld Goddess exactly. So is this like the most specific counter to like the most specific cards in the game? Is this like the most extremely specific counter, or is it just me? Lunalight Black Sheep, number 1. Apparently there's multiple Lunalight Black Sheep. Okay, we got some text here. So we got a level 1 Dark Beast Warrior. You can banish one Lunalight monster from your graveyard. Special summon one Lunalight monster from your hand. You can tribute this card. Special summon one Lunalight monster from your deck, except another copy of this. You can banish one Lunalight card from your graveyard, except Lunalight Black Sheep number 1. And then what? and then that sentence just ends there. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon Lunalight monster from your graveyard. And if you do it, gains 200 attack for each tuner in your graveyard. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target one tuner in your graveyard, except the Fierce Luna Knight added to your hand. What did the Fierce Luna Knight do to you? You can only use each effect of Lunalight Black Sheep number 1 once per turn. So we have how many effects here? We have the first one here, 2, 3, 4, 5 effects. I feel like that's a little bit too much for one card. I mean, they're all hard once per turns at least, but I still feel like that's just a little bit too much for me to follow. 5 effects on one card. Oh, I think it's okay still. I don't think it's overpowered, I think it's just needlessly complicated for no good reason. Like, surely we can just get rid of like 2 or 3 of those effects and still have a card. Okay. What is the field? The field! Continuous spell. Oh, hey there, Utopia. When you activate this card, you can also tribute one monster. Special summon one Utopia monster from your hand or deck. While you control a spellcaster monster and a wind-up effect monster, you take no battle damage from attacks involving that Utopia monster you control. So, which Utopia monster you control? That monster over there. Which one? That Utopia monster over there. What a card. I like how this card looks like it would support plant monsters, but it supports Utopia monsters. Do Utopia monsters... Do we even have any Utopia monsters that just, like, hang out in the main deck anyways? I have no idea. I mean, the guy that is the monster that is pictured in the card's art here, literally, if I'm not mistaken, cannot be summoned by this card's effect because it's an extra deck monster. Like, it cannot be summoned. Involving that Utopia monster you control. I don't know, this one's just, honestly, I think still a little bit too weird for my liking. It's not like stupidly powerful, it's just kind of word salad if you ask me. Only kind of, though. Oh boy, Pendulum Monster. Performapal Barian Camel. Is this card art actually like something on a real card? I don't know, it kind of looks like it could actually be like the card art for a real Yu-Gi-Oh card, despite the shoe on head. I also don't feel like reading Pendulum cards, it's just more text. I don't know, it seems like a pretty like crazy extender for Performapal Pendulum strategies with the Pendulum effect. Well, I control a... And this is apparently a warrior type. Let that sink in, that's a warrior. While the controller fades a continuous spell, your opponent cannot target this card for attacks. Negate all trap effects of face-up monsters your opponent controls until the end of the damage step. If you control a face-up continuous spell card, you can target one card in your opponent's graveyard. And one face-up monster your opponent controls, return them to the hand, and if you do, destroy those cards. Okay. So target a card in your opponent's graveyard to put it into their hand and then just immediately destroy it and put it back in their graveyard. What is that supposed to achieve? So basically just destroy one of your opponent's face-up monsters is what it's doing. And that affects a hard once per turn. I don't know, this is a weird one. With the they got all trap effects of face-up monsters. Well, I do wonder if the pendulum effect is a little bit too easy to just like take advantage of the fact that it's also a soft once per turn. I don't know, it doesn't really like feel like a Konami card with the just destroy. No, add a card from the opponent's graveyard to their hand to immediately destroy it afterwards, and then negating the effects of the trap effects of monsters. It doesn't feel like a legit like Konami card. I don't know if it's like too overpowered, but it just doesn't read like an actual card, so I'll just say no. Granosaurus. But it's a fusion monster now, apparently. You need 5 dinosaur monsters, apparently, to summon this thing. Must be special summoned first by shuffling the above cards you control into the deck. You gotta get 5 dinosaurs on the field somehow to summon this. Okay, if this card is special summoned, target one other face-up monster on the field. Equip this card to it. Okay. Sure. To make that monster lose 400 attack and defense. Once per turn during the end phase, shuffle those cards to the extra deck. So you commit 5 dinosaur monsters to make one of your opponent's monsters lose 400 attack and defense until the end of this turn. All of the effects on this card, like, make sense, again, in a way that they basically just follow normal Yu-Gi-Oh logic. They adhere to Yu-Gi-Oh logic, but as far as actually winning a game is concerned, no way in hell you'd ever run this. I don't know, this would be like just, I don't know, printed as some like joke card. I don't know, literally just printed as some common for like a joke and just, I don't know, waste more cardboard. We got a lot going on here too, apparently. An Insect Synchro Tuner, level 3. Knee Insect Scout. Amarillibo. Knee Insect level 2 and 1 non-tuner monsters. So I don't know if the Knee Insect level 2, it's probably level 2, the tuner monster we're talking about here. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. This card can attack 3 times during each battle phase. But it has 0 attack though. Unless, I don't know, you start like finding ways to power it up to actually make use of the attack 3 times during each battle phase. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a trap card or effect that targets a card in your hand. This just doesn't come up, doesn't it? You can negate the activation if you do destroy that card. I don't like... I can't think of any cards at the moment that actually do that. That traps the target cards in your hand. Quick effect, you can banish 1 insect monster from your deck. Special summon Knee Insect level 2 from your hand or graveyard on a hard once per turn. Overall, pretty funny card, but all of this makes sense, even though negate the trap card that targets a card in hand. It's just, it's probably literally never going to actually come up. I mean, honestly, the card is still fine. Attack 3 times, but you have to, like, commit resources to powering it up to actually make use of the attack 3 times a turn. I think the card is fine. I mean, there's like other cards out there that can just attack like 3 times or maybe even more than that, which also require a ton of setup to actually effectively use. And if that setup is in the form of, like, say, I don't know, equip cards, and then you just destroy this insect, you destroy this monster, like, all the equip cards it had are gone too, and you just get, like, you basically just get blown out by, like, 1 card. Yeah, if you invest a lot of resources into this 1 card having a lot of attack, and if your opponent just blows all of that out with 1 single card, you basically just... Depends on, like, how many cards you used up, you may have just lost the game. And other Neonsect cards. Okay, I'm gonna want to look at the Horus one, I guess, before I just consider ending the stream. I want to look at the Horus one. Horus of Black Flame. Wait, so it's an effect monster that has link arrows. It's an effect link. It's a normal. It's a main deck link monster. Once while this card is face up on the field, you can change this to defense position. If this card's normal summon, you can add 1 level 4 monster from your deck to your hand. Oh my goodness! That's really generic. Any level 4 monster from your deck to your hand. That's pretty generic, not gonna lie. If this card's in your graveyard and your opponent controls a beast type, Horus the Black Flame card. Does that even exist? I mean, in the actual Yu-Gi-Oh card game, I'm like dead certain it doesn't. You can special summon this card from your hand, but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you cannot special summon monsters, except monsters for the rest of this turn. You cannot special summon monsters, except monsters. So basically you're saying I can just only special summon monsters for the rest of the turn? I don't know what the hell the link arrows are supposed to do on a main deck monster. I mean, nowhere in the card's text does it mention anything with the link arrows. It doesn't do anything with these. I mean, you can technically still, like, just co-link link monsters with this guy, with this main deck monster because it has arrows on it. Wait, but it's not a link monster, so you... Technically, I don't think you can link summon directly to a zone only this points to, because I think the rules for link summoning just say, like, you have to link summon to an empty extra monster zone, assuming you're not using one already, or not pulling off an extra link, or into, like, an empty monster zone a link monster points to, but this is not a link monster. It's just a main deck monster, but for some reason it's got link arrows on it. As much as I love the Horus archetype, this would probably just not pass the... This would probably just not pass quality control. And as much as I love the archetype, that doesn't really make much sense. Yeah, so basically, I'm probably gonna upload a video sometime this week. Maybe tomorrow, if I can just find enough time after work. Where I just kind of like compare and contrast my openings from Legendary Collection 25th Anniversary and Rarity Collection 25th Anniversary Edition. So for example, this is basically like the highlights of what I pulled out of, well, of course there's the 3 God cards, the Red Eyes Black Dragon, the Blue Eyes White Dragon, the Dark Magician that you're guaranteed in like every box of the recent Legendary Collection 25th Anniversary Edition, and one of those cards can come in like Quarter Century Secret Rare. And mine was the Red Eyes Black Dragon. Also, out of those 6 packs I got like 3 foils. Yeah, by the way, this cost me like roughly 40 bucks. If we're talking like Canadian, this cost me roughly 40 bucks. And I got this misprinted attribute where the text is actually in Italian. And then I quickly figured out that all the quarter-century secret rares that come out of this product are basically like this. And if the text above your attribute on your quarter-century secret rare is not in Italian, then it's in German. Yeah, so that would either say, like, Oscurita or Finsternis, which is, like, the German equivalent for darkness. Yeah, apparently from what I've heard, like, they're all like this, the quarter-century secret rares. So yay, $40 to have myself an Oscurita attribute, Red Eyes Black Dragon. Oh yeah, here's like some of my openings from the Rarity Collection. That being like the Korean box, basically. Not just Korean box, also Japanese, but basically the OCG box. This is probably like gonna be like the first thing you're gonna see in my video where I kind of just kind of like compare the two products after I had already opened them. So I opened the Legendary Collection 25th Anniversary Edition, and I opened a Rarity Collection Quarter Century Edition in Korean because those are all cheaper than the Japanese equivalents. So yeah, the one on the left cost me roughly $40, and after shipping and just converting to Canadian dollars, the one on the right, the OCG product, cost me roughly $50. I think it was maybe supposed to be like $30 to $35 US. I assume there was definitely some shipping cost because we had to get this imported all the way from South Korea. And I also so happened to buy this right when the Canadian dollar just kind of like took a nosedive in value compared to the US dollar, so if I'd have bought the Rarity Collection like a day or two earlier, I probably could have saved like about $5. I think I could have saved up the $5 if I just got that a day sooner. But yeah. Our economy is still in a rough patch, to be honest. Yeah, so back to what I opened. And I guess I'll just... Yeah, I'm eventually just gonna make this, like, its own video where I actually go more in-depth about, like, exactly how both the products are organized, like, what you can expect from each one, and my honest opinions on, like, both of them. Rather than just, like, it was fun to open both. I'd rather go, like, a little bit more in-depth to what I opened. So, yeah. Collector's Rare Cherubini. I'm pretty sure it was Collector's Rare with the texture I saw on it. An extra secret rare Lava Golem. This was probably the shiniest card I've ever seen up to this point, to be honest. Collector's Rare Change of Heart. I think. And I think same for the Cherubini. An Ultimate Rare Triple Tactics Talent, and apparently a different kind of Ultimate Rare than what I was used to seeing. Yeah, apparently over in the East they changed their foiling for Ultimate Rare since Rise of the Duelists. Yeah, Triple Tactics Talent. I just kind of like opened this just casually out of a $50 box. And a Forbidden Droplet, and a, well, Compulsory Evacuation Device, just classic card, but, and a Forbidden Droplet I just opened like it was nothing. And this is kind of like where I start to feel like us TCG players are just getting like screwed over. Out of this $50 box, I pulled not one but two Baron de Fleurs. I spent 100 plus on my TCG equivalent Baron de Fleur. That was like when I only had the one printing though, and since Maze of Memories it started like settled around like 60 to 70. Still like a fuck ton of money for one card. Yeah, one of these is collector and one of these is ultra rare, by the way. And actually, out of curiosity, just checked to see like how much each went for. I found a listing for a collector's rare Korean Baron de Fleur for about $6 to $7. This was in US, so I assume like maybe closer to like 8 or 9 if we just convert to Canada. And the ultra rare was about like 2/3 of the value of the collector rare, so let's just say about like $4 to $5 for the ultra rare. Compare that to my $60 to $70 like TCG equivalent Baron de Fleur. Yeah, a card you can get for like basically $5 in say Japan or Korea. You gotta spend like what? More than 10 times that to get the exact same card playable like in the TCG. Yeah, we're getting fucked over here. I'm probably gonna say that in my later video as well. Oh yeah, also, like, just pretty good generic staple cards all around in this product. I mean, what other set can you imagine just having, like, Baron de Fleur, Triple Tactics Talent, Lava Golem, Forbidden Droplet, Infinite Impermanence, Raw Sphere Mode, Outlook the Golden Lord, Ghost Bell, Ash Blossom, Pot of Prosperity, Borreload Savage Dragon, Prevalent Dragon Sepelia for people playing Super Poly, I guess. Max C, but then again, like, we're talking about, like, OCG where they have Max C at 3 for some reason, whereas in the West it's just forbidden straight up. So yeah, of course, like, if Max C is legal, you definitely, like, would want to print it in the product like this. Yeah, printed for a market where Max C is in fact legal, but... yeah. Oh, and I got a quarter century secret rare from the Korean box as well. That being the... this was Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax I got as quarter century, and I found a listing for this for about, like, 20-ish bucks. Which I guess if you convert to Canadian might come out to something closer to... I'd say, like, closer to 30 than 25. Maybe, like, 27 something. Yeah, I found a listing for roughly, like, 20 bucks or something for this quarter century secret Korean Avramax. Although I want to show the foiling off this. I want to show off the foiling on this Lava Golem here. I don't know why the video quality is so choppy though. Oh, I guess I'll also just show off the foiling. Why is the video so choppy though? Dropping so many frames is not even funny. I just want to like show off the foiling on this Baron because I'm still mesmerized by the foiling pattern on this. Yeah, a card this pretty, only going for like 6 to 7 bucks. And the collector's rare Baron in the TCG, I guess, for comparison, is like, what, $200 plus for a card that looks very similar to this, but like it's in English or French or whatnot. And then my Avramax. Quarter century secret rare, Mech Knight Crusadia, Avramax. Okay, can I just pause it on a frame where you can actually, like, see the thing better? Yeah, I know I have, like, basically next to no fingernails. I know. Yeah, so that's gonna be, like, a later video where I just spend even more time just basically talking about, like, the two products and how they differ and, like, which one might be better, which one might be worse. Honestly, I think it'll be subjective. Like, what do you value more, like, out of your Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed product? Do you want nostalgia, or do you want, like, solid playable staples and affordable price? And honestly, I want both. I would want both, to be honest. But yeah, for now, I'm just gonna end the stream.